Recording in progress.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Top SST. This is quick revision Nationalism in India from history chapter. And if you have seen my video yesterday, I hope everyone must have completed the chapter Nationalism in India. So this quick revision will help you on the last day, that is on 13th and 14th morning, when you will be doing the quick revision. Definitely this video will help you out. So in this quick revision, I'm not going to teach each and every topic. We will be just looking into the glance what are the topics which has been covered in this chapter. So if I look at the first subtopic, that is World War I, okay, what was the economic and political situation? So the war was created a new economic and political situation in the year after 1919. You should be remembering that when the World War I happened, it is in the year 1914 and it got ended in the year 1918. Okay, so what was the situation? What was the economic and political situation in the country? So income tax was introduced and the prices of custom duties were doubled. It's very important to mention the date, that is in between 1913 and 1918, the custom duties, they have increased, income taxes, they increased, which were very difficult for the common people, that is the middleman, okay, middle class group. It was very difficult for them to pay the rent, to pay the taxes. In the year 1918 to 1919, even the crop failed in India. So we know that when there will be a crop fail, definitely that will result into the shortage of food, which will accomplished by the influenza epidemic. Then at this stage, even the forced recruitment was happening. Now, what do you understand by forced recruitment? Forced recruitment is nothing but when Britishers, they forcefully recruited the people in the war. So these all were the struggle which, like, which India was facing between the World War I. Next topic is your Satyagraha. Who introduced the idea of Satyagraha? It was Gandhiji who introduced the idea of Satyagraha when Mahatma Gandhi returned to India from there, from South Africa. Okay, so when he returned to India in the year 1915, okay, already he was a well-known figure in South Africa, even in India, and his Satyagraha movement as already, like, it was spread all over the world. So when he returned to India, he focused that yes, in India also now he need to start the Satyagraha movement. So the idea of Satyagraha, what is the idea of Satyagraha? Idea of Satyagraha emphasize the power of truth and the need to search the truth. It's very, very important that idea of Satyagraha emphasize the power of truth and the need to search for the truth. So there are three initial movements which has been proved that yes, in India also the Satyagraha movement can be successful. So in the year 1917, Gandhiji traveled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. So this is again your map question also. This can come, where is Champaran? They can ask you, like, it is only a history. Map work is only going to come for the identification. So they will be giving you the place and they can ask you the question, in the year 1917, identify the place where the plantation struggle was happened. So you need to know it is Champaran. Then in the year 1917, again, Kheda district, which was in Gujarat, government refused to the land revenue. And it was very difficult for the common people and the peasants to pay the revenue. So there also the successfully Satyagraha has been launched. And then in the year 1918, Mahatma Gandhi, Ahmedabad mill workers. Okay, so these three are very important for the map work also. And the question can come for 3 marks. They can ask you, like, what is Satyagraha? Give any two events which happen to prove that Satyagraha movement can be successfully launched in India. So any two, 1 plus 2, they can ask you, or they can ask you 5 marks question where Satyagraha will be for 2 marks, and these 3 places which you need to mention can be for 3 marks. Next, we need to move to the Rowlatt Act. Okay, so Rowlatt Act, you must be wondering why ma'am is very fast. So I am very fast because it's a quick revision. Okay, I'm not going to explain you the topics. It's a quick revision which you will, like, you will just remembering in your mind. Okay, these are the points which I have already learned. So that's the reason it is called as a quick revision video. Okay, so the Rowlatt Act. So Rowlatt Act, when it was passed, you need to remember it was passed in the year 1919. So what was the Rowlatt Act? It was under the Imperial Legislative Council. Okay, it has given the Britishers the enormous power. So what was the power? They can arrest any of them without any, any trial for 2 years. So again, Gandhiji wanted the non-violent civil disobedience movement against such unjust laws, which would start with the Hartal on 6th April. So 6th April 1919 was observed as a Satyagraha day, when people all over the country observe fast and Hartal. 1919, the country witnessed a remarkable political awakening in India. Local leaders were picked from the Amritsar. Mahatma Gandhi was again, he was not allowed to enter into Delhi. So on 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon the peaceful procession. Now let us see what is that peaceful procession. Jallianwala Bagh massacre. A large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. People came to protest against the government repression, and they want to even attend the annual Baisakhi fair. So General Dyer entered the area, blocked the exit points, and opened fire on the crowd, killing hundreds of the people. Stampede happened, people died. Okay, the government responded with the brutal repression, seeking to humiliate and terrorize the people. So how they humiliate? The Satyagrahis were forced to rub their nose on the ground. They need to crawl on the streets, do salam or the salute to all the sahibs. So this was the, they were forced to do these things. Okay, who were the Britishers forced all the Satyagrahis to do all this thing. Again, your map work, where is Amritsar? Okay, they can mark the Amritsar, and they will ask you the question, the peaceful procession of Jallianwala Bagh, which is that place. So you need to write the answer as Amritsar. Khilafat movement. Now, what is Khilafat movement? Why, we are learning about the Khilafat movement. Now, when Gandhiji felt that now it is very important that the movement cannot be restricted to one group or one community. Now, we need to show that Hindu-Muslim unity. So, Gandhiji felt that it is the best time when the non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement can bring under one umbrella. So when the World War I had ended with the defeat of Ottoman Empire, there were rumors. What were the rumors? The rumors were that there will be a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Empire. Okay, who was the spiritual head, which is known as Khalifa of the Islamic world. So now the Muslims of India decided to force Britain to change their Turkish policy. So Gandhiji also felt that it is the best time when they can shake hands with the Ali brothers, that is the leaders. Okay, they are known as Ali brothers, that is Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. And this is the time when Hindu-Muslim unity has been shown. So this is all about Khilafat movement. So when Khilafat movement and other things were happening, they were in the countryside, in the village also, the movements have started spreading. So the first movement which has been spread, we are going to talk about is Awadh Kisan Sabha. The non-cooperation movement spread to the countryside, where the peasants and the tribals were developing in different parts of India. The peasant movement started against the talukdars. Okay, the talukdars and the landlords, because of high rent. Okay, they demanded, they demanded that there should be a reduction of revenue, there should be abolition of begar, and there should be a social boycott of the oppressive landlords. Okay, so these were the three demands which they demanded. Jawaharlal Nehru in the year June 1920 started going around the village of Awadh to understand their grievances. Okay, what is their problem and other things. In October, he, along with few other set up Awadh Kisan Kisan Sabha. Within a month, almost 300 branches has been set up. In 1921, the peasant movement spread, and houses of talukdars and merchants were attacked, bazaars were looted, and grains were taken over. So they have interpreted the meaning of Swaraj that they can easily, they can take their rights, that is bazaar. That's the reason all the bazaars were looted. So interpretation of Swaraj has been done in a different manner. Let's move to the next one. Kudan Hills of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so you must be knowing about Alluri Sitaram Raju. Okay, he was the very interesting figure. Why he known as an interesting figure? Because he claimed that he is having a variety of special powers. He always, he also followed the path of Mahatma Gandhi, but at the same time he believed that if we want freedom, it is very, we cannot go in the path of Mahatma Gandhi. So violence is very important. So the government started closing down the forest area, due to which their livelihood was affected, where they felt that now it's a time we can enter into any of the forest places. Next one is Assam Plantation. Okay, so under the England Immigration Act 1859, plantation workers were not permitted to leave the tea gardens without permission. But here, the plantation workers, they again interpreted the meaning of Swaraj, and they thought that Gandhi Raj has come and they can move around wherever they want. So after the herd of non-cooperation movement, thousands of workers left the plantation and headed home. But unfortunately, they never reached their destination and were caught up by the police and brutally beaten up. So these are three important things. So one more thing which I have, we need to remember that how non-cooperation movements was in the fold. So they surrendered the titles, okay, boycotted the foreign goods, then picketed the liquor shops, the schools, the teachers started leaving the schools and universities, students left the schools and colleges, then they boycotted the foreign clothes. Okay, so when they did all these things, so they adopted khadi. Okay, so when they adopted khadi was very expensive when we compare with the machine-made cloth. Now, when non-cooperation movement has begun, they did not approach, or they did not think of what will be the alternative solution for it. Okay, so because they did not have any substitution or alternative solution, again the teachers started joining back to the university job. They moved into the machine-made goods, because khadi was very expensive and there was no alternative solution. So this is all about your second subtopic. Let's move to the towards the civil disobedience movement. So when we talk about towards the civil disobedience movement, 2 marks question they can ask you. In 1920, Indian politics shaped. Okay, what are the 2 factors which shaped the Indian politics? The first one was worldwide economic depression, and this which was definitely the agriculture prices were lost, and the second one is Simon Commission. People did not support the Simon Commission. What was the reason? When Simon came to India, when the Simon Commission was made, they agreed that there will be some policy change in the country. Okay, but there were not even a single Indian member who was part of Simon Commission. That's the reason when Simon came or arrived in India, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back, Simon." And in December 1929, in the Lahore session, the Congress has passed under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru that every year, 26 January 1930, afterwards, every year, 26 January will be celebrated as Independence Day. So that is the importance of Purna Swaraj. Salt March, I'll not be going into detail because it is one of the very important. Salt March was effective. Why it was effective? Because it's the first time when Indian thought that now, we need to violate the law. So this is what the civil disobedience movement. Now, what is the difference between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement? Non-cooperation was non-cooperating with the Britishers. Civil disobedience movement is when they started breaking of the law. In non-cooperation movement, you will see that there were large number of participation, like, the Muslim participated, Hindu participated, but in the civil disobedience movement, when we are going to see the limits of civil disobedience movement, the Muslims, they did not participate because of Hindu Mahasabha. Then what was the reason why non-cooperation was called off? Because of Chauri Chaura incident. Chauri Chaura map work, very important. Okay, because of the Chauri Chaura incident. Then civil disobedience movement marked with the salt march. So these all are the differences. Differences can also come in the exam. Civil disobedience movement, remember that they started breaking the law. Okay, thousands of Indians in different parts of the country, they started breaking the salt march. But salt march, it was a Mahatma Gandhi, okay, who thought that if the demands were not being fulfilled, the demands which has been sent to the Lord Iron, which, okay, if it is not going to fulfill, Gandhiji told that it is an ultimatum which has been given to the Britishers. And if those things were not being fulfilled, Gandhiji will start the civil disobedience movement with the salt march. Now, how participants saw the movement. Here, you need to remember 5 groups have been participated. One is your rich peasants, poor peasants. Then you have business class, industrial working class, and women. So let's see the first one. So the Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh were active in the movement. They became enthusiastic supporters of the civil disobedience movement. Why they supported? Okay, what is the reason why, like, they supported? They supported because already the depression, okay, Great Depression was affected. Great Depression was affected, and they were not able to pay the rent. Okay, so that's the reason they thought that now it will be helpful for them, that if they are going to support the civil disobedience movement, it will be easy for them to, like, the Congress will do something for them. The poor peasants, why they joined? Because they thought that definitely there will be a reduction of rent, but Congress did not support the poor peasant. What is the reason? Because they thought that if they are going to support the poor peasant, they will not get a support from the big peasants, or, like, it will be very difficult. Business, why business class participated? They participated so that they thought that there will be some change in the foreign policy, and to organize the business interest, the Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Congress, they all participated. At the same time, when we talk about industrial working, except the Nagpur region, the industrial workers, they did not, like, participated in the large number. Women participated in the large number. Now, Dalits, okay, Dalits addressed as an untouchables were not being moved with the concept of Swaraj. Mahatma Gandhi used to call them, but Mahatma Gandhi thought that now it's a time when they need to bring Dalits also into the movement, because the movement needs to spread all over the community. So Mahatma Gandhi used to call untouchables as Harijans, or the children of the God, without whom Swaraj could not be achieved. He organized Satyagraha for untouchables, but they were keen on the different political solution to the different problems of the community. They demanded reserved seat in the educational institution and a separate electorate. Now, Pune Pact is very important. So why Pune Pact happened? What is the reason? So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who organized the Dalits into depressed class association in 1930, clashes with Mahatma Gandhi in the second roundtable conference by demanding separate electorates for Dalits. So the Pune Pact was signed, okay, in the year 1932, gave the depressed class a reserved seat in the provisional and the central legislative council. After the decline of non-cooperation and Khilafat movement, Muslim felt that the relationship between Muslims and Hindu was worsened, and one of the reasons is even the Hindu Mahasabha, establishment of Hindu Mahasabha. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was willing to give up the demand for separate electorate, but he like Muslims were assured reserved seat in the Central Assembly and representation in the proportion to the population in the Muslim dominant provinces. So the hope of resolving the issue at all-party conference in 1928 disappeared when M.R. Jaikar of Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed the efforts at the compromise. The last topic, the sense of collective belonging, very, very important for 5 marks question and even for 3 marks. Nationalist movement spread when people belonging to the different regions and communities began to develop a sense of collective belongingness. The identity of a nation is most often symbolized in the figure or image. So the image of Bharat Mata was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1870 when he wrote Vande Mataram for our motherland. Then Indian folk, next point is Indian folk songs and folk sung by the birds played an important role for making the idea of nationalism. Then next point in Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore, and in Madras, Nasta Sastri, collection of folk tales and the songs which led to the movement of folk revel. So these all is like, how the collective belonging is being created. During the Swadeshi movement, tricolor flag, very important. Red, green, and yellow flag was designed in Bengal. It had 8, again, this can come for 2 marks, okay? So it had 8 lotuses representing 8 provinces, and the moon was there in between, which shows the Hindu-Muslim unity. Means like, again now, how they started reinterpretation the history of nationalist writers. Okay, so they thought that it is very important that we need to start glorifying our art, culture, maths, astronomy, whatever the field of like, where we have excelled, so that the reinterpretation of history can be happen and people can have like, feeling of nation, and we can successfully launch the national movement, and we can win the national movement. So with this, I hope the quick revision will be benefit for you, and you will able to just recap all the points with this video. Thank you, and all the very best, and keep watching my video. Thank you.